I went downstairs to take out the trash and caught a glimpse of a familiar car body shaking. In the passenger seat, Asher's female secretary, Lillian, was sitting on him with flushed cheeks. He glanced at me indifferently. "Serafina, I'm just having some fun. Don't be unreasonable." Later. In the same position, the same scene. The heroine in the car became me. His eyes were red as he asked me what I was doing. I said indifferently, "Asher, I'm just having some fun. Don't be unreasonable. Today is the 6th anniversary of me and Asher." I looked at the plates of exquisite dishes on the table that had long gone cold. From the setting sun to the neon lights coming on, I can't remember how long I've been waiting. When the pointer reached 12 o'clock, I got up, poured all the dishes into the trash can, then packed up the trash in the kitchen, carried it downstairs. After throwing out the trash and returning home, just as I was about to lift my foot to go home, the black Cullinan with its body shaking by the flower bed caught my eye. A slight stinging sensation came from my heart. I walked over, bent my index finger, and knocked on the car window. The shaking of the car stopped. The car window was lowered halfway, and a young and beautiful face came into view. The woman's cheeks were flushed and her clothes were half off. When she saw me, she covered her face and let out an ah, then buried her face in Asher's arms. "I know her. Lillian. She is Asher's newly recruited secretary this year. She has a pure and lovely face, a typical innocent and delicate look. But her actions at the moment are not so innocent." Asher, leaning against the back of the seat, had bulging veins on his forehead and frowned, as if trying hard to endure something. A gust of wind blew. The nauseating smell in the car spread out. I frowned and said in a soft voice, "Asher, let's talk." The streetlight shone into the car through the thick foliage. Asher's brow was filled with intense impatience. "Serafina, I'm just having some fun. Don't be unreasonable." I sat in the bar, downing one glass of strong liquor after another. Just when Asher raised the car window earlier, I was thinking, since when did he start calling me by my full name? I met Asher in the year I graduated from my senior year. He is 3 years younger than me. He fell in love with me at first sight and then launched a year-long intense pursuit. At first he called me senior. After knowing my name, he called me Sister Serafina. After we started dating, he still liked to call me Sister Serafina and then buried his face in the crook of my neck and said, "Sister Serafina, all my first times are with you. You have to be responsible for me for the rest of my life." Yes. Asher's white moonlight is me. But before Asher, I had a boyfriend. I was with my ex for 3 years and did all the things that couples should do. Asher is a very possessive person. He always likes to ask me when our feelings are intense, "Sister Serafina, do you like me more or him?" At first, we had several fights because of this. Even once I proposed breaking up. At that time, Asher's eyes were terribly red and tears were streaming down. He knelt on the ground, hugged my thigh and begged me not to break up, saying that he would never be like that again. After that, he was doubly good to me. At that time, I really wanted to be with him for the rest of my life. Until 2 years ago. At that time, Asher had been working at Asher Group for 2 years. Although he always seemed like a child who never grew up in front of me, he was very business talented. In just 2 years, he achieved remarkable results in the business world. He smoothly took over the family business. At that time, an intern came to the company. One day after work, I ran into Asher having a meal with that girl in a restaurant. But 10 minutes ago, he told me that there was an important meeting in the group and he couldn't pick me up after work. That time Asher was only mentally unfaithful, but I couldn't accept it and proposed breaking up for the second time. Asher quickly sent the intern away and began to seek my forgiveness. He is a very persevering person. And he can be very hard on himself. In the end, this game ended with him kneeling in the heavy rain downstairs for 3 days and being sent to the hospital. After this, we returned to the way we were before. But once something starts, it can never go back. I don't know since when, there are more and more women around Asher, and he is getting more and more unscrupulous. But they have never caused trouble in front of me. Maybe he has. I don't know. Just like today, if I hadn't gone to take out the trash, I wouldn't have found out. And today I took a leave and cooked a big table of meals, not to save anything. I just want to have a good farewell meal with him. Put an end to our completely changed relationship. In the past 2 years, I have had many thoughts of breaking up. But in the end, I couldn't say it. It wasn't until last night that I made up my mind. Yesterday I worked overtime very late. As soon as I left the company, Asher's childhood friend called. Said Asher was drunk and asked me to pick him up. I took a taxi and rushed to the box where they were. When I reached outside the box and just pushed the door open a crack, I stopped. Because I saw Lillian in a white dress standing in front of Asher. She seemed to have just arrived. Sister-in-law is here. Asher has been looking for you. The moment I heard this sentence, my heart sank heavily. I watched Asher gently yet domineeringly pull someone down and sit on his lap. Then, he kissed her on the lips. At that moment, I was certain. Asher was moved. When Asher loved me, he would also look at me with such eyes. He would bring me into his circle and let his friends call me sister-in-law. Asher, don't drink anymore. Later, Sister Serafina will be angry again. Lillian's soft and sweet voice came through the crack of the door and into my ears. She did it on purpose. In the past, when Asher encountered a girl who tried to cause trouble for me in front of him, he would immediately turn hostile. But now, he just pinched her chin and said dotingly, "Jealous?" In response to Asher, Lillian shyly buried her face in his arms, causing a commotion in the room. Sister-in-law, you don't have to care about that old woman Serafina. She can't compare to you at all. Asher has been sleeping with her for so many years. He must be tired of her long ago. The words in the private room became more and more unpleasant to hear. The hand I placed on the doorknob trembled slightly. Until someone shouted at me, "Sister-in-law, you're here." I turned my head and saw Chase's face with a bright smile. He is the only one among Asher's childhood friends who is polite to me. He is also the one who called me just now. "Why don't you go in?" As Chase was about to push the door open, I stopped him. "I'll go back first. Don't tell Asher that I've been here." When I turned around, Chase saw Lillian sitting on Asher's lap through the crack of the door. He explained to me, "Sister-in-law, Asher is just drunk." I pursed my lips and smiled. "Go in quickly." After saying that, I lifted my leg and left. Enduring the nausea, I quickly entered the bathroom and vomited until I was dizzy. After vomiting, I stood in front of the mirror. Looking at the calm face in the mirror, I thought, it turns out that giving up a once passionate and beautiful relationship is not so difficult. I know. The young man who loved me has long disappeared. When I returned home from the bar, I bought a bottle of water at the convenience store at the door. Just as I was about to leave after paying, I suddenly bumped into an embrace with a cold woody fragrance. My forehead hurt from the bump. The smell lingering at the tip of my nose made me feel strangely familiar. I staggered back a step and tried to get out of the man's embrace. My calf went weak and I almost fell. A broad palm landed on my lower back. The scalding temperature transmitted through the thin shirt to my waist. I only felt that the skin there was about to be burned. I swayed and stood up straight, but the man's hand still didn't let go. "Sorry." Before I could say "You can let me go now," a familiar voice came from above my head. "Drinking because of a breakup?" My muddled brain went blank for a moment. Looking up, a cool and gentle face came into view. The man was wearing white clothes and black pants and was wearing silver-rimmed glasses. He looked refined and elegant. "Nathan? Nathan? Miss Serafina actually still remembers me?" There was a hint of sarcasm in his tone. "The person in front of me is my unfortunate ex-boyfriend Nathan. Our breakup wasn't pleasant. On the second day after breaking up with me, he immediately went abroad. Today is the first time we have seen each other in 8 years. After Nathan let me go, I pulled him as if possessed. Want to sleep together?" The moment the car door closed, Nathan pressed me on the back seat and kissed me eagerly. His passion seemed to be the same as 8 years ago, making it a bit difficult for me to handle. Suddenly, I regretted what I had just said. As soon as those words were spoken, intense desire and some emotions I couldn't understand immediately surged in the man's eyes. He asked me in a cold voice, "Serafina, for real?" At that moment, I wanted to back out a bit. During college, I had witnessed how crazy this seemingly cool and gentle man could be in bed, but thinking of Asher's words just for fun today, I finally nodded. He could play around. Why couldn't I? Then there was a dizzying turn. Nathan picked me up horizontally. The man's hoarse voice rang out in the car. "Serafina, focus." As my lip ached, I came to my senses. I frowned and pushed Nathan. "Don't bite me." Nathan has always been domineering in bed. Whenever I get a little distracted, he will bite me as punishment. He said in a hoarse voice, "Serafina, if you focus, I won't bite you." After saying that, he directly took my earlobe in his mouth. I was instantly silenced. Such a gentle and affectionate kiss made me very uncomfortable. It was as if we were back in the days when we were in love. In a hazy state of consciousness, I heard him say, "Let's go to my place." He got up and was about to open the car door. I stopped him. "I want to stay in the car." He was stunned. Of course, I knew why he had this reaction. After all, our breakup was also related to the car. During our relationship, Nathan had an almost crazy obsession with my body. He was a bit too crazy in that aspect, and I really couldn't bear it. The breaking point was that one night he went too far. Tears gushed out of my eyes and I proposed a breakup. That time, Nathan apologized and promised various things and coaxed me for a month. After making up, he restrained himself a lot. We are back to what we were before. Until one time he took me to the top of the mountain to watch the stars. I was sitting in the passenger seat. When he kissed me, I had a bad premonition. Sure enough, while kissing me, he acted coquettishly, "Serafina, just once, okay?" I shook my head coldly. "Nathan, let's break up." The famous young master of the Nathan family in the capital is undoubtedly arrogant. The next day Nathan went abroad. Who would have thought that a thoughtless angry remark in our youth separated us like this? 05 Don't you regret it? At the same time as Nathan's voice fell, there was the sound of a metal buckle being undone. I turned over and sat on Nathan's lap, lifted his chin. "What's there to regret? Haven't you tried it?" After saying this, I suddenly thought that I seemed to have forgotten to ask if he had a partner. Before I could ask, Nathan had already spoken first. "Have you tried it?" I shook my head. "I haven't tried it, so I want to try it." Nathan didn't speak anymore, but just silently reached out to undo the buttons on my shirt. I pressed his hand. He looked up. "Regretted? I want to ask if you have a girlfriend." "I won't touch a man who has a girlfriend." Nathan's tone was ambiguous. "I'm available." "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" I skipped his invitation and confirmed with Nathan again. "Do you have that in your car?" Nathan's sexy Adam's apple rolled up and down. "Yes." Hearing this, I kissed Nathan's lips. My initiative seemed to surprise Nathan very much. After being stunned for a moment, he took back the initiative. His kissing skills were still superb. The alcohol in my head hit again, and I was completely indulged in Nathan's kiss. When I accepted Nathan again, a crystal tear slipped down the corner of my eye. "Not feeling well?" Seeing me crying, Nathan held my face and asked gently, just like before. There were fine beads of sweat on his forehead, as if he was enduring extremely hard, but he didn't dare to act rashly. I suddenly remembered that when I first broke up and got back together in college, every time we were intimate, as long as I showed a little displeased expression, Nathan would always stop immediately. But now he is not my boyfriend, and I won't vent my anger on him. I turned my head aside, my voice a little cold. "No, continue. Serafina, don't make it seem like a cold transaction." These words instantly made me lose the desire to continue. When I wanted to get up, he pressed me down. "Angry again?" Nathan sighed, his tone a little helpless. "You really won't take any losses. Serafina, open your mouth." Nathan's voice was low and sexy. "Serafina, one cold and one hot, a perfect match." I only heard this sentence in a daze, and then completely lost consciousness. I didn't know that after I passed out, Nathan held me in his arms, and his gentle and affectionate kisses lingered on my lips and wouldn't let go for a long time. 06 The sound of running water came from the bathroom. Asher leaned on the bed, with a cigarette between his fingertips, looking satisfied. He opened WeChat. There wasn't a single message in the dialog box with the top note of Sister Serafina. He was inexplicably a little irritable. He didn't originally plan to be downstairs today, but later he couldn't resist. No woman has ever been like Lillian, so compatible with him in this regard. So obedient and caring. Unlike Serafina, she is always so arrogant, whether in life or in bed, like a nun, quite boring. He pressed his temples and sent a message. I won't go back tonight. The message didn't get a reply for a long time, and Asher didn't take it to heart. After a while, his sister Aurora called. What's wrong? Sis. The set of ruby necklaces you asked me to take pictures of, why don't you come and get them? Didn't you say you were going to give it to Serafina as a 6th anniversary gift? Aurora's words made Asher pause as he held the cigarette. He took the phone away from his ear. June 19th. Only then did he remember that yesterday was the 6th anniversary of his relationship with Serafina. Before going out in the morning, Serafina was different from usual. She gently helped him tie his tie and asked him to come back early from work and have dinner at night. But later there was a social engagement and he was a little busy and late. Lillian lives in the same community as them, so he took her back. And then it got out of hand downstairs. Thinking of Serafina's indifferent eyes when the car window was rolled down, he was inexplicably a little flustered. Serafina has been with you for 6 years. Mom and Dad both like her. Don't play too much outside. Marry Serafina soon. I know. The proposal is already being prepared. Asher hung up the phone. He paused on the dialog box for a long time and finally didn't send anything. He's just playing around outside. When he's had enough fun, he will marry her. Moreover, her family's business needs his care. She can't do without him. Asher. A soft and glutinous voice sounded in the bedroom. Asher looked up. He saw Lillian wrapped in a white bath towel, wearing a pink bunny ear headband on her head, looking at him shyly. His throat tightened, and a dark color surged in his eyes. Immediately, he cast aside the matter of Serafina. He strode forward, picked up the person horizontally, and threw her onto the bed. 07 When I woke up, the room was bright. I had drunk quite a lot of wine yesterday. At this moment, my head is still a bit dizzy. Suddenly, my waist tightened. I was pulled into a scalding embrace. Awake? When the familiar voice entered my ears, it awakened the temporarily sealed crazy memories in my mind. My cheeks burned. With my usual temperament, I would definitely not do such a bold thing. I was born into the Serafina family, a minor wealthy family in the capital. Since I was young, I have known that I will enter an arranged marriage, and my family education is also very strict. My mother often teaches me and my younger sister that girls should love themselves. Therefore, I am extremely conservative in this regard. Asher is a person who likes seeking thrills and doesn't like my conservativeness. I looked at Nathan. Can you bring me a new set of clothes? The clothes from yesterday are completely unwearable. Nathan's words made me widen my eyes. He said, I'll bring it to you on Monday. Suddenly, I became stammering. I want to go home. Today is Saturday. He said he will bring it to me on Monday. Doesn't that mean I can't leave all weekend? Nathan propped his hand on the pillow, and the hand on my waist tightened. Suddenly, I pressed closer to him. Serafina, this time you provoked me first. Do you just want to leave like this? In his voice, I seemed to hear 2 points of grievance. Damn it. I really haven't sobered up from the wine yet. In the end, only these words squeezed out from my throat. I have a boyfriend. Nathan's eyes were hooked with a malicious smile. You have one if you have one. It's not like you can't break up. I pressed down the hand that continued to move downwards and almost ground my back molars to pieces. Nathan, after so many years, you really haven't changed at all. Serafina, you have changed a lot. Nathan sneered, you can even tolerate your boyfriend cheating frequently. My body stiffened. At this moment, I am like a fish on a chopping board, gutted open, and all my shabbiness is exposed in front of Nathan. My breakup with Nathan was very unpleasant. Those shabbiness are the things I least want him to know. But Asher's affairs outside are so big. Who in the Beijing social circle doesn't know? My parents just advised me to be understanding, for a family like Asher's. If I marry into it, it can be said that one person attains the Tao and even chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. Seeing my cold face, Nathan took my hand and kissed it on his lips. Want to enter an arranged marriage with me? I looked up abruptly. Why? In the Beijing social circle, Nathan's family business is even larger than Asher's. At the beginning of being with Nathan, I didn't know that he was the son of the Nathan family. So when he took me home, I even wanted to escape. But unexpectedly, Nathan's family members are all very kind and warmly received me. Even later, after we broke up, Nathan's aunt came to find me and asked if Nathan had made me angry. Nathan lifted his chin. Who made me only have feelings for you? Nathan has a cold and elegant face. He seems refined and polite, but in fact, he is a beast in human clothing. Whether it's character, family background, or... Nathan paused for a moment and brought his face closer. Appearance. I am much better than Asher in every way. Consider it? Nathan's voice was light and airy, like a joke, but his eyes were very serious. I am very sure that he is serious. This condition is indeed tempting. Moreover, the other party is someone I deeply loved 8 years ago. So I didn't hesitate or be pretentious. I quickly gave Nathan my reply, okay. One of the reasons why I didn't break up with Asher before was also because I did indeed need an arranged marriage. Compared to the arranged marriage partner casually introduced by my family, I think Asher is a better choice. From a long time ago, I started to force myself to withdraw the feelings I had invested in Asher and regard him as a real arranged marriage partner. I tried, but it didn't work. Between me and Asher, there were once many beautiful memories. I can't force myself to regard him as a simple arranged marriage partner. What I need is a complete end. Compared to starting a new relationship, a good arranged marriage partner is what I need more urgently at present. Nathan's eyes were dotted with sparkling brilliance. You agreed? I looked at him as if I had returned to the day he confessed to me. That day, he also looked at me with such a puppy-like gaze, shining brightly. Well, I was originally going to break up with Asher yesterday, but he didn't go back, with the secretary downstairs. Nathan's tone was serious. Serafina, you can't go back on what you promised. Of course I won't go back on it. Entering an arranged marriage with Nathan's family is beneficial in every way for me. Serafina, it's still early. As soon as Nathan finished speaking, I was turned over by him. He pressed down from behind, gentle and restrained on my back. When I woke up again, it was already dark. I turned on my phone and wanted to send a breakup message to Asher. This 6-year relationship, I originally wanted to end it formally and in person. But since he is so busy, I have to do it through my phone. I couldn't find Asher's name after searching for a long time. Finally, I found him on the blacklist. Let's break up, asshole. Looking at the message sent in the afternoon, I chuckled. Nathan is still so childish. A man's voice suddenly rang out. What are you looking at? My hand trembled, and my phone fell on the bed. He picked it up, and I clearly felt the air pressure around me drop. Don't take such rubbish to heart. He turned off the phone. There's a family banquet at my house tomorrow night. Come with me. I exclaimed, this, so soon? Nathan spread his hands. The family is urging me. I muttered to myself. This is too urgent. I'll go to your house tomorrow during the day. Nathan's words came one after another, making me a little dizzy. In box 08. Asher looked at the red exclamation mark in the dialog box in disbelief. Serafina actually blocked him. Chase sitting next to him saw his phone and gloated. Oh, sister-in-law blocked you? Chase's words were like a stone thrown into a calm lake. Everyone immediately gathered around. Owen, his childhood friend, clicked his tongue. Serafina has grown wings. She actually dares to block Brother Asher. Isn't Brother Asher going to propose to her? Why is she still being so unreasonable? Ben patted his shoulder. Asher, you went too far this time. No wonder Serafina is angry. In the past, Asher's affairs with other women usually didn't last more than a month. This time, it has been more than 3 months, and he even moved to live in the same community as Serafina. Is Sister Serafina angry with Asher? A timid voice rang out from the doorway. As soon as Chase saw Lillian's face, he hated it extremely. Such a plain face is not even 1/10 as beautiful as Serafina's. But Asher treats her like a treasure, Chase said coldly. You, the mistress, still care if the original wife is angry? Lillian immediately turned red-eyed. Asher gave Chase a sideways glance. Shut up. The atmosphere in the box immediately quieted down, leaving only the woman sobbing. Asher beckoned to Lillian with red eyes. Don't pay attention to him. Come here. Lillian obediently walked over, took Asher's hand, and then sat on his lap. Seeing this, Chase was so angry that his lungs hurt. He suddenly stood up and kicked the table hard. Brother Asher, if you continue like this, sister-in-law will leave one day. Asher's heart sank. He put on a cold face. She can't leave me. 09 When I brought Nathan home the next day, my parents were stunned. How could they not know the young master of Nathan's family? When they learned of Nathan's intention, they immediately smiled like a blooming chrysanthemum, extremely obsequious. They wanted me to marry Asher only because of Asher's family background. Now that there is someone better than Asher who can marry me immediately. Of course, Asher was forgotten by them. In the past 2 years, Asher has had a reputation for being a womanizer. Every time I go home, my mother always advises me to hold on to Asher's heart and not end up with nothing. They were afraid that I couldn't marry into Asher's family. And couldn't find a better marriage partner in the future. After receiving my parents' warm hospitality and Nathan's promise to them about how he would treat me in the future, we finally embarked on the road to Nathan's house. When I stepped into Nathan's house again, I was very nervous just like the first time I came. Nathan took my hand. My parents don't eat people. Seeing that I didn't answer, he added, I won't eat you here. I gave Nathan a glare. Can you talk more seriously? So you want me to eat you here? Nathan could make me so angry with just a few words. Clearly, I'm not such an impatient person, but Nathan always has this ability. When I saw Nathan's parents again, I was very uneasy. But they were still as warm and friendly to me as when I first came to Nathan's house. Serafina, you two finally made up. You don't know how badly this brat cried on the day you broke up. Mom. Suddenly exposed by his own mother, Nathan could no longer maintain his composure. You still know how to be shy? Nathan's aunt took my hand and continued. This brat flew back from the UK overnight when he learned that you were in a relationship. And he cried all night in his bedroom. At that time, I really doubted that such a useless son was actually born by me. This time he finally acted quickly. Nathan's aunt's words completely stunned me. I looked over at Nathan. He shifted his gaze unnaturally. Does Nathan still like me? Seeing you two come to fruition makes Aunt really happy. Tomorrow is Monday. Go and get your marriage certificate. Out of my sight, Nathan's aunt winked at Nathan. As if saying, Mom is still awesome. 10 After leaving Nathan's house, Nathan drove me to the place where I used to live with Asher to get my things. Since I heard those words from Nathan's aunt, I am still in shock. Nathan suddenly said. Are you scared? I was puzzled. What? Nathan continued. The fact that I like you. I didn't expect Nathan to be so straightforward, but this is indeed in line with his personality. During college, Nathan and I met on the first day of military training. On the day military training ended, we officially started dating. I asked in a low voice. Why? Serafina, as I said, if I like someone, I will like them forever. The young man in my memory overlapped with the mature man in front of me, and my heart beat violently. It seems that my heart rate hasn't fluctuated this much in a long time. When I returned to the house where I lived with Asher, the house was exactly the same as the day I left. It seems that Asher hasn't come back in the past 2 days. I know that Lillian lives in this community. At this time, thinking of these two people, there is no ripple in my heart anymore. I quickly packed my things and went downstairs. Nathan also wanted to come up with me just now, but I know his narrow-minded nature well. Maybe if he comes up. After he put my things in the back seat, he actually opened the passenger door. I immediately understood his intention. I originally wanted to refuse, but looking at his pitiful expression, I softened again. 8 years have passed. Both Nathan and I have grown a lot. His passion still makes it hard for me to resist, but I don't hate it and gradually fall in love with this feeling. In the past, I didn't like Nathan's craziness. Part of the reason was that I always felt that he just wanted to vent his hormones on me and didn't care who the other person was. I always felt that gentleness could prove that he really loves me. At that time, I seemed to take it for granted. When our emotions were deep, my fingers slipped into Nathan's fingers and interlocked with his. Thump, thump, thump. Suddenly, the car window was knocked. I tensed up all over, suddenly remembering that Nathan's car seemed to be parked in Asher's parking space. I pressed the center console in reverse. Only a third of the car window was lowered. Asher and Lillian were standing outside the window. When Asher saw me, he was stunned for a moment. Today I am wearing a shirt and skirt. 3 buttons are undone, revealing an impressive career line. Nathan raised his hand and pressed me down a bit. Is there anything, Mr. Asher? His tone was extremely provocative. Serafina, what are you doing? Asher's furious voice came in through the gap in the car window. I rubbed my ears, raised my face, and looked directly into Asher's flushed eyes. Asher, I'm just playing. Don't be unreasonable. 17 After returning to Nathan's villa, I was pressed against the washstand by him. His eyes were fierce. Playing? How do you want to play? I was in deep distress. I just wanted to vent my anger at that time. After hearing my words, Asher's face instantly turned pale, and I felt a sense of pleasure after revenge. He always thought that I couldn't leave him, so he was unscrupulous. When I really left, he pretended to be so pitiful as if being abandoned. It's really annoying. With mist in my eyes, I said. Play with you for a lifetime. Don't you want to? In an instant, a bright light floated in Nathan's dark and shiny eyes. He held my face and said solemnly and seriously, Wife, let's go get the marriage certificate tomorrow. That night, I don't know when I fell asleep. When I regained consciousness again, I had already walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I didn't expect that just after a weekend. I became a married person. Nathan put his arm around my shoulder and kissed my face heavily. Changes always happen suddenly. When Asher's fist hit Nathan's face, I didn't even react. Asher, what are you doing? I supported Nathan, who almost fell. Asher's eyes were full of hurt. Sister Serafina, you actually yelled at me for him? The 3 words Sister Serafina were called out from Asher's mouth again. I just found it ridiculous. Seeing that my attention was diverted, Nathan immediately leaned on me. Wife, my face hurts so much. Asher was like an enraged lion. Who are you calling wife? We got the certificate. She's my wife. Nathan waved the little red book in his hand. Asher's violent aura disappeared instantly. He moved his gaze to my face with difficulty. You got married? I nodded. When Asher wanted to reach out and pull me, Nathan raised his hand and punched him. Asher was not to be outdone. The 2 of them started fighting at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Nathan looks cold and elegant on the surface, but on the contrary in his bones. When he fights, he doesn't show any mercy. Seeing that there were more and more onlookers, I quickly pulled Nathan. Stop fighting. Let's go home. Nathan's eyebrows furrowed imperceptibly. But he still stopped. Asher, I warn you, don't disturb my wife again. Otherwise, I will beat you up every time I see you. After he finished speaking, he took my hand and turned around and left. Sister Serafina, don't you want me anymore? Asher's panicked voice came from behind. I felt the hand holding me tighten subconsciously. But I didn't stop. Asher, I gave up on you a long time ago. 12 After getting in the car, Nathan's expression was always sullen. At first, I coaxed him for a couple of sentences. He remained unmoved. I'm not good at coaxing people, so I could only sit in silence in the passenger seat and pick at my fingers. Nathan gave me an angry look. Aren't you going to coax me anymore? Like a big dog full of grievances. I asked you why you were angry, but you didn't say. Then can't you ask me twice more? If you ask me twice more, I'll tell you. I was amused. Nathan, why are you still so childish? Isn't Asher childish? Leaving such a good girlfriend like you alone and looking for those women outside. I put my hands under my chin, tilted my head, smiled and said, you can't be jealous, can you? Yes, I am jealous. Why do you like him and not me? Nathan's answer always surprises me. I thought he would at least be stubborn for a while. I don't like him anymore. Oh. I looked at Nathan's mouth that couldn't be pressed down no matter what, and a smile spread on my lips. Nathan pretended not to care and said, so you like me now? I was amused by Nathan. Where did you get that conclusion? You agreed to marry me. Isn't that because you like me? I was so happy that my teeth showed but my eyes were hidden. But when I saw his slightly trembling hand on the steering wheel out of the corner of my eye, my nose felt a little sour again. Yes, I like you, now. Squeak. The car stopped urgently by the side of the road. Nathan unfastened his seatbelt and held my face and kissed me. 13 The next day. When I walked out of the company, I saw that Rolls-Royce Cullinan at a glance. The assistant beside me patted me on the shoulder. General Manager Serafina, your boyfriend has come to pick you up from work. Her tone was a little surprised. When we first got together, Asher would pick me up and drop me off from work regardless of the weather. All the employees of Serafina Enterprise knew that Asher loved me deeply. I smiled faintly. We've already broken up. Under the shocked gaze of my assistant, I shook the ring on my hand. I got married. The assistant was so shocked that she couldn't say a word. In the end, she just dryly said congratulations. I had no intention of entangling with Asher, but he didn't want to let me go. I walked around him, but he still chased after me and grabbed my wrist. I said in a calm voice, without a trace of a smile on my face, let go. Sister Serafina, I don't agree to break up. The strength with which he held my wrist gradually tightened, and I frowned in pain. Breaking up doesn't need your consent. It's enough for me to notify you. I really don't have much strength. After struggling for a long time, I still couldn't break free. Lillian has been dealt with. I will never look for other women outside again. Don't break up. His eyes were red, begging me like when I proposed breaking up before. Before I liked him, when he played the victim, I would feel distressed. Now I don't like him anymore. He is in pain, but I don't feel distressed. Instead, I feel it's false. Asher, you are so dirty. In an instant, his face was as pale as a sheet of white paper. He opened his mouth. Sister Serafina, I interrupted him. Just because I'm not a virgin for the first time, you feel you've suffered a loss, so you go outside to find women to seek balance, right? He was silent. Because I was right. The reason he started looking for women outside was because he felt that he had given all his first times to me. He was unbalanced. In the first year we were together, I said that if you can't accept it, we can break up. You said you didn't mind, but what did you do? Asher hurriedly grabbed my hand. Sister Serafina, I was wrong. I was really just too jealous. I was jealous that others had you before me. Let's get married. After we get married, I will never look for anyone else outside again. I said disgustedly, I'm already married. Please don't disturb me anymore in the future. My husband will be jealous if he sees you. Asher still didn't let go. He held me tightly, and tears welled up in his eyes. Nathan just returned to the country. You found him to deceive me. I know. I was amused by him. Asher, as always, only wants to live in his own world. I pried off his fingers and said word by word, he is my white moonlight, the one you've been jealous of for 6 years. Asher's expression instantly cracked after I said this sentence. He suddenly seemed to go crazy. He hugged me tightly. No, I don't want to break up, Sister Serafina, don't leave me. He is like a child who never grows up. Thinking that being unreasonable and making a scene can get what he wants. You've been broken up for 8 years, and you've lived with me for 4 years. He can't not mind. The last trace of affection in my heart disappeared at this moment. I said coldly, he is different from you. Except for being a bit excessive in that aspect, Nathan never suppresses me verbally. Like is like. Mind means mind. He will say it out instead of hiding it in his heart. Suddenly, I felt a pull. Asher, who was holding me originally, was pulled away by Nathan and punched to the ground. Asher's corner of the mouth was broken and blood seeped out. Seeing Nathan about to kick him, I hugged Nathan. Don't bother with such an irrelevant person. Nathan, who is gentle and refined in front of people, rarely loses his composure. He spat and pointed at Asher and said, "Don't think that just because you are a scumbag, all men in the world are like you. The way you act smug after getting an advantage really disgusts me. While criticizing others for not being self-loving, you have promiscuous relationships outside. Did you crawl out of a cesspool? So disgusting." Seeing Nathan curse for the first time left me stunned. It was off-duty time now. There were many people outside the building. I pulled Nathan towards the car. After getting in the car, Nathan was still muttering curses. Looking extremely angry. I burst out laughing. "Why are you angrier than me?" Nathan snorted twice and leaned towards me. He rubbed his cheek against me. "What kind of thing is he? How dare he talk to you like that? He has a problem in his mind. We don't need to be angry with him." I touched Nathan's face. My hand was caught by him and he pecked it several times by bringing it to his lips. While working, I was also preparing for the wedding. One day, when I went to the hospital to get my physical examination report, I met my former friend Aurora. She pulled me and said she wanted me to accompany her to see a friend. Aurora was good to me before. Since we met again, I thought it wouldn't matter to accompany her once. Along the way, she told me in a rambling way that Lillian had been fired. And Asher had spread the news that no company in Beijing would dare to hire her again. I was a bit sighing. I didn't expect that Asher would vent his anger on Lillian. He and Lillian were both to blame. When something happened. But he only knew how to shirk responsibility. Asher is still as childish as ever. His childishness is different from Nathan's. Nathan only throws tantrums in front of her. Asher attacks indiscriminately. He always only cares about his own happiness. Whether seeking excitement outside or making things difficult for Lillian now. When we reached outside the ward, Aurora only let me go in. "Serafina, Asher is hospitalized here due to a gastric perforation. Can you see him?" I pushed open the ward door and the crying sound instantly poured into my ears. "Asher, Serafina's sister getting married is not forced by me. Why do you blame me for all the responsibilities? Get out." Asher's voice was in a rage I had never heard before. Lillian looked up with teary eyes. When she saw me, her tears immediately fell even more fiercely. She said resentfully, "Why are you here? Are you satisfied now?" Asher looked over following her gaze. The anger on his face instantly disappeared, leaving only tenderness in his eyes. Such a look made me feel a bit disgusted. I walked up to Lillian and sneered, knowing that he has a partner and still getting involved. "You seem quite proud." She seemed to be stunned by my scolding. It took her a long time to react and she looked at Asher for help. But now Asher's eyes no longer had her. Lillian finally covered her face and ran out of the ward. "Serafina's sister, the engagement ring will arrive tomorrow. Will you divorce and marry me?" Asher looked at me with pleading eyes. I dodged his outstretched hand and mocked, "Aren't you the one who cares most about the first time? Do you want a divorced woman too?" Asher's already pale face instantly became even paler. Asher has always cared very much that I am not a virgin and has repeatedly mentioned it. Even later when he looked for women outside, he only looked for women who had never been touched. Asher said in a panic, "No, it's not. I'm just jealous. I don't mean to despise you." I looked at Asher. I had depression 3 years ago. Asher looked at me in shock. 2 years ago, when you cheated on the first girl, I took sleeping pills. A whole bottle. Great panic surrounded Asher. He was like a child who had done something wrong and looked at me helplessly. At that time, Asher took that girl to go out to sea and was gone for more than a week. If my sister hadn't come to me, perhaps my life would have ended then. You always mention that I am not a virgin. You don't despise me, as if being with me is a gift to me. It once made me feel that I am a very bad person and I wanted to end my life. Fortunately, God gave me a chance to start over. After waking up in the hospital that time, I started seeing a psychologist and actively cooperated with the treatment. It took me nearly 2 years. Finally, I recovered. Asher held his head and said in pain, "Sorry, I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me?" I sneered, "Asher, you really haven't changed at all. As long as something happens, it's always someone else's problem." The depression diagnosis report was on my bedside table at that time. If you had cared a little bit about me, you would have seen it. Asher shook his head. "No, Sister Serafina. The only person I love is you. Those women outside are just for fun. I am already preparing to propose to you." I stood up. "Asher, your love is too cheap. I can't afford it and I won't want it." When I turned around, Asher pulled out the needle on the back of his hand and rolled off the bed, trying to catch me. "Sister Serafina, don't go." I took one last look at Asher. "If you really love me, never appear in front of me again. I feel sick when I see you." The last glimmer in Asher's eyes was completely extinguished. Hearing the commotion outside the ward, Aurora pushed the door and entered. Seeing her younger brother on the ground and then looking at me, "Serafina, is there really no possibility?" I raised a smile. "Sister Aurora, I am preparing for a wedding recently. I will send you an invitation then." When I walked out of the hospital, Nathan was standing there with his hands in his pockets. I quickened my pace and walked towards him. When I reached him, he put his arm around my waist. "Don't see him again in the future. A lunatic who misses someone else's wife." The afterglow of the setting sun shone on us, and our shadows were stretched very long. I turned to look at Nathan. His eyes looking at me were filled with passion and affection. Just like when we were 18. The end. Epilogue. Nathan, if I had known that just because of a whim I would end up breaking up, I would definitely not say those words in the car. I like Serafina. I like her like crazy. As long as I see her, I want to stick to her. She is very conservative in this regard. Although I want to be one with her as soon as possible, I still want to wait until the day she is willing. On my 20th birthday, she agreed. I was ecstatic. I couldn't control my intense love for her at all. She didn't seem to like it. After that, we quarreled more. Mostly because of this. I tried to restrain myself, but as soon as I touched her, all those rationalities would completely collapse. Until she proposed to break up, I was completely panicked. Fortunately, she forgave me in the end. But the good times didn't last long. On the day we went to the top of the mountain to watch the stars, on an impulse, I said I wanted to try it in the car. This time she resolutely broke up with me, and said that I didn't respect her at all. She said she hated me. Hated every time I touched her. When I heard the word hate from her mouth, my mind went blank. I was hurt in my self-esteem and left the country in disgrace. Every day abroad I was crazily missing her. I wanted to go back to China. But I was afraid of seeing her resolute and cold eyes. Until 2 years after I went abroad. The thing I was most afraid of happened. She was in love. I bought a plane ticket overnight and returned to China. After waiting outside Serafina's company for a day, I finally saw her. She is still as beautiful as before. Just a little more mature. When I saw Asher's hand on her waist, I couldn't wait to get off the car and beat him up immediately. There was light in her eyes looking at Asher, just like when she looked at me when we were in love. I returned to the UK in disgrace again. I didn't dare to pay attention to her news in China anymore. It was already 6 years later when I heard about her again. I heard about the absurd things Asher did in China from my childhood friend. I immediately sorted out the work of the branch company abroad and quickly returned to China. On the first night I returned to China, I found out that she was in a bar. When she paid and bumped into my arms, I was stiff all over. 8 years. This is the first time I have touched her. When she said, "Do you want to sleep together?" While I was angry that she treated herself so casually, on the other hand, I couldn't help but feel my blood boiling. Anyway, I want to marry her, so it shouldn't be considered a one-night stand, right? At most, it's getting on the bus first and buying the ticket later. Fortunately, I had foresight and always carried condoms with me. When I had her again, my nose was sore. 8 years. She finally came back to me. She is still so delicate. When she fainted, I slapped myself in annoyance. I couldn't hold back again. I was thinking about how to make her not angry tomorrow. But unexpectedly, she wasn't angry. I took advantage of the situation and said the words about marriage alliance. During the time I was waiting for her reply, my heart almost jumped out of my chest. She agreed. I was afraid that she would go back on her word. I met both parents within a day and got the marriage certificate directly on Monday. But that annoying guy Asher appeared again. I had been thinking about beating Asher for a long time, so I hit him extremely hard, wishing I could smash his face. How dare he treat my wife like that? What a bitch. On the way back, I got her confession again. I was like a bird that had built a nest and was flying happily in the sky. On the day of our wedding, I cried like a mess. My childhood friend said I had lost all my face. What does it matter if I lose face? Anyway, I have a wife. Now Serafina and I have been married for 8 years. We have a daughter. As beautiful as her. I watched her walking out of the building in a white shirt and black skirt and greeted her. She took my arm and asked with a smile, "Left work early again?" "Wife, today is our 8th anniversary. Okay. I won't criticize you today." I escorted her into the car and caught a glimpse of the black car not far away out of the corner of my eye. Without looking, I knew who it was. Since that time in the hospital, Asher really hasn't appeared in front of my wife again. He changed his strategy. He always secretly watches Serafina from the dark. At first I was quite annoyed, but on second thought, it's not bad to be able to pierce his heart. After all, he bullied my wife before. After getting in the car, I leaned over and gave Serafina a big kiss on the cheek. "Wife, I love you." While fastening her seatbelt, she replied to me, "I love you too." My heart and my chest beat rapidly. Her confession. No matter how many times I hear it, I am always moved.